I think we should dive into Apple Intelligence because it's
Let's do
it's
it.
going to go across everything else we talk about.
I agree. All right, go.
This is the Apple you had one job. The number one thing I wanted to hear about and see about was massive improvements to Apple Intelligence. I don't think we got that. We got a bunch of interesting little things. So that was a little bit disappointing to me. I wanted to see leaps and bounds made because I think that's what they need at this point. They just feel so far behind everybody else, and I get a lot of the reasons for it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, some of the image stuff was kind of interesting and exciting. I'm trying to think of what the best Apple Intelligence feature I saw was, and I mean, it goes to what I'm talking about. Is I can't think of the one thing that was like, oh, that's gonna blow me away in terms of Apple Intelligence.
I don't think there was one, Adam. Well, actually, that's not true. I might have one, but certainly when they started the keynote and got into the Apple Intelligence section fairly early, Craig Federighi said this work needed more time to reach our high quality bar, which to me was, we're going to be punting on this today because last year we bit off more than clearly we were able to chew.
Last year we kicked one into the stands instead of through the goalposts.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the other half of that equation. Throughout the keynote, what I kept seeing was more and more and more ChatGPT integration, which says to me, this is our Band-Aid because we can't get our crap together. And I'm sorry to say it that way, but like, we can't make this work, so we're just gonna Band-Aid the hell out of it until we can.
Yep. I don't disagree with you. I think that was exactly what they're doing, but I also think it's exactly what I think it's the best thing they could be doing, because Apple, you know, they set up the criteria, right? We need it to be, you know, fast, on device, all encompassing, like all the things. And they have yet to be able to deliver on this. I mean, it's like Air Power all over again, right? They described this amazing product that we all wondered, how can that exist? And it turns out, I don't know that they had all the criteria laid out. What we assumed last year was that they had a vision on what the end result of this would look like. And I haven't seen that. I don't have a vision on what the end result of that would look like. And that's because I'm probably not smart enough to come up with it. In fact, let's take probably out of that. If I was smart enough to come up with it, I would have. I'm not. But I'm not convinced anyone at Apple has been able to come up with that either. So it's really hard to steer the ship towards something when you don't know what something is. You're just kind of steering aimlessly. And I say this as someone who's been running businesses for a long time. If I know where we're going, even if that's not where we actually get, but if I have an idea in my head, like that's where we're going, it's way easier to kind of backtrack and say, okay, how do we get there? Yeah, we might take some detours and what do we call them in business? Pivots along the way, right? But at least we had we had our eyes on the prize. I don't think there's any prize to put their eyes on. So punting, if you will, and going to ChatGPT with Apple Intelligence, why not? Like it doesn't happen on device. It doesn't maintain privacy in the level and way that Apple would, but at least it gets you the things that you as a user would want.
I don't know. Go ahead, Pete.
Some of it's incrementally coming in though too, and it's like watching your kids grow up. I mean, Lucas is over 6 feet tall, right?
Yep.
But he's kind of always been that way. No, wait a minute. He was a little guy, but you lived with him every day, and so and they're incrementally getting this stuff in there. So I think there's some more in there,
Are they?
Yeah. For example, they said, in message or you get a reminder that says, "Hey, happy birthday to Grandpa." FaceTime him.
That's not Apple Intelligence. That's like run a search on my
I could be wrong. My impression was when they ran this in the keynote, it was like, hey, you get your reminder pops up, says, "Hey, say happy birthday to Grandpa." All you have to do is say FaceTime him, and it knows that's who and who Grandpa is, and goes to FaceTime. Is that AI? Is that Apple Intelligence? No, but it's a little bit, and that they're sliding those in incrementally, I think.
Well,
and some of it's getting there. And I'm not trying to be a fanboy and give them too much credit, because clearly they are way, way behind the competition on this. And that needs to get fixed, and they've got the resources to fix it. So I'm hoping they'll get after it. But I also think there's been a lot of improvements that they've just kind of come along and they're like, oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, it works that way.
So
Dave, here's a goal.
Go ahead,
I have a goal.
Great.
How about Image Playground that can generate images at least as good as ChatGPT 1.0 or whatever their image thing was called? I can't remember what it's called.
Dolly. You talking about
at
Dolly?
Least as good as Dolly 1.0 or Dolly Beta. I mean, there's a goal for you. It's terrible. It is dead awful. I'm sorry. It just does. You ask it to do things, and it basically takes two emoji and squishes them together, and you're like, oh, that's really cool. It's not. If I tell you to generate an image with this, that, and the other, generate an image with this, that, and the other, and show it to me. That'd be cool.